2019. I'm your host Magebit with over 18 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is the RRman and guest host Cass. And on today's show, Anachronia, 1 week on. Patch notes for July 15th. Jadinko single encounters. The nerf of the Jadinko. Runefest theme revealed. I'm having a really good time. Mid-level player opinion. Iron Quest, the quest planning app. Saying thanks. Old school RuneScape is but a playground of the mind for RuneScape 3 devs. And the cold, cruel game of RuneScape. Thanks for tuning into this edition of Runescape Weekly, and enjoy the show. Thanks for tuning into this edition of RuneScape Weekly. Welcome back. Magebit here. I can't hear out of my left ear, so this is weird. But we're here nonetheless. And music sounds really strange. I hope the balance is okay. Hi, BladeCom. Stream is offline, back now. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Everything went really weird there for a second. All those command prompts were probably XSplit trying to hack the Matrix and put everything like back online in the background. That was impressive that it managed to do that. Thank you for letting me know that actually happened and worked. Let me know if audio is okay as well, because everything sounds like tin cans, and it kind of hurts when I wear both of my headphones, because I'm like pumping audio into like...
When BladeCom put the skull and crossbones up there, I thought he was talking about Panacea. He's just freaking...
He's just dead. So anyway, yeah, welcome RRman, welcome back. How are you doing, friend?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, you know, big game hunting.
Right?
Loving it.
You were the master. You've been giving us tips on Big Game Hunter.
No one ever would think that would happen.
Right? Seriously.
Yes.
Not just
Skill versus monster player now, yes.
I mean, everyone finds their niche, right? You know? You've said you're not a skiller, and so you got to fit in. I mean, you said you're not a quester, my bad. Everyone fits in somewhere. So, there you go. We have also, for the first time on the show, Cass. Welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Cass, and I've been playing the game for, I want to say about 10 years. Like a lot of people, I started in school, and it was a great AFK game to have in the background while you're studying and whatnot. I took a bunch of breaks, as we all do. And I came back actually pretty recently, like a month and some change ago. And this podcast was really instrumental and helpful in letting me catch up.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. That's awesome. So, longtime vet. Yeah. Many people have had this game with them for a long time. I definitely can share the sentiment of carrying this game for almost the majority of my life at this point. That's kind of funny to say for myself personally. But having this game for over 10 years is also just a sentiment that I think a large portion of the RuneScape 3 player base can say. Not everyone, but I would say probably a good like 10,000 players out of the probably maybe, well, I think there's a good like million active players in total. I would say that a good 10,000 of us probably can chart our way back at 10 years, and it's fun and nostalgic to be able to do that. And
absolutely.
That's awesome. I love being able to have experienced players on the show who can look back on memories like that. I think it's a very valuable experience. So welcome. Good to have you on.
Thank you so much.
We have an exciting show today. We have some PSAs before we jump in. Our man brought to my attention that there is a compass that can be completed around Anachronia. You want to talk about that real quick, Arman?
Yeah, it's a good way to get a few hunter marks. 25 of them.
Yeah, up your early
game. Just doing a few rounds of Big Game Hunter, you'll get a drop, which is like a compass needle. Mm-hmm. I don't actually know how rare it is, but I got it rather quick.
Yeah.
But the second piece you don't actually get from the Big Game Hunter.
Okay.
You go and find it on the island. I think it's on the western side. You just go over to a beach and you just search a little backpack and pick it up.
Uh-huh.
So don't be like me and just hope that the next piece comes from Big Game Hunter.
Right.
Because I could have used those 25 points quite a bit sooner.
Right.
But yeah.
I got the piece out of the backpack first, and I had like the little compass piece, and I was like, what do I do with this? And I brought it to him, like just coincidentally, because I was like, obviously he's gonna know what to do with this. And he's like, oh, you found my compass, it's broken. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know what to do with it. My first thought was bring it to Doric or Thurgo, because that's how old school of a player I am. I'm like,
fixer of things.
Right. I'm gonna bring it to a dwarf. And that didn't work. But that was my best thought. And after that I was like, whatever. But hey, cool. So that's how this is solved. Cool.
Do not do what I did, which was destroy the piece that you get from Big Game Hunter that completes the compass.
Which dinosaur did you get it from? Do you remember?
I believe it was one of the tier 1 dinosaurs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Because I have hunted plenty of Cimetopses, plenty of like the total tier 1, like the one that takes what are they, sharks? I've done the shark one and I've done the rocktail one a bunch. Those are my 2 favorites, and nothing but the totem piece, which is fine.
I don't know that it's limited only to the tier 1s, but I do know that after I destroyed it and then had instant horrible regret, I then determinedly returned and kept going. And I think it only took me like an hour or so to get a piece back again. So I think you just got to keep grinding.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I probably spent in total amount of time in Big Game Hunter probably 2 to 3 hours, which is, on average, I'd say not horrible for RNG. Then if you can obtain it in an hour, 2 to 3 hours is not too far off then. My curiosity is how much Luck of the Dwarves and stuff like that works for those types of things. I'd be curious. They haven't revealed that type of stuff. I haven't noticed my ring glowing or anything like that when I'm skinning dinosaurs.
Sure.
But that would be an interesting piece of information from Jagex on a live stream. If the ring works when skinning, and if not, why not? Because it should. Also, there was another thing about people using people treating the instances a lot more like boss fights. I didn't think to bring like a yak and stuff like that. That was a really smart thing I didn't think to do. To hold extra bones you can note. Like I was using magic note paper to note the dinosaur bones. Some of the hides are notable, some of them aren't. Like there's weird QA stuff there that needs to be looked at.
If you want to keep doing the note paper as opposed to the yak, you can alk the unnotable hides.
Interesting. Are they worth alking? How much is what's the alk value on them?
They're just like salvage. They're only worth is alking.
I did not know that.
5K, I think it is.
Yeah, good to know that. Thank you for letting me know. I did not know that they were an alkable item. I've been just tossing them until the damaged hide is that's an alkable.
Right.
Good to know. Thank you. Did not know that. I was putting them in my bank. Like, what are these for? I figured they were craftables for the tier 75 armors. Okay, cool. The scales are for the armors. But yeah.
That's what I really enjoy about this island is that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
And you just hoard everything because you don't know.
Exactly. I honestly did not realize how much I missed the feeling of intrigue and mystery until this island was released. I think the biggest thing that we probably missed out on with Menafos was the mystery and intrigue on it, because they documented it so heavily before its release. Like, we knew every little aspect about it. Everything was devlogged. Everything was pretty much captured and put down in videos and live streams beforehand, which was great for my show. It gave me, we were doing podcasts like 3 days a week, but it was on release. It was like, yeah, I've seen it all. It was boring. Like there was nothing to do as far as like new content goes because it felt like old content at that point. And there were also some other things along the way that were frustrating as well. But I think one of the biggest things that this island definitely has going for it is the aspect of mystery and exploration.
Yeah, like every day I'm learning something
right
new.
And I really
like the bait boxes, you know, did you know that once you get the tier 3 you can use it as a deposit box? I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I'm gonna work on this now instead of, I know, you can upgrade the bait box to a 3rd level and it becomes a deposit box.
I did not know that.
I'm working on that now.
Well, here I've been slowly collecting logs to work on my bait box. Because the bait box is definitely useful. I think we might actually be able to upgrade the bait box now. Let's take a look. I have 5,700 wood. I might be able to get to the next level bait box. Why don't we go take a look at that?
Does the bait box activate only for just that one particular dinosaur, or does it go all the way across?
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Island-wide, I suppose.
That's very worth it.
Yeah, it's totally worth it.
The tier 1 is access to bait box throughout the island, and then tier 2 is a larger one, so it holds 15 of each.
It's hides.
And then tier 3 is larger again, I guess. I don't know if it's larger again, but yeah, access is a deposit box.
That's fantastic.
That's going to be great.
I did not know the tier 3 held the deposit, but once you have a deposit box, that's going to make the hunting seamless. You won't have to worry about wasting note paper or having a yak or anything like that.
Keep those bones, because those bones are actually selling for quite a bit, because they are better than dragon.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I believe they're only 10 XP lower than frost dragon bones, and yet are much cheaper. So stock up.
Right. I'm keeping them in my bank, and I mean, the only thing that dragon bones have a downside is their ineffectiveness on double XP weekend. But I mean, they're so easy to farm here that like it almost makes them better than a double XP weekend with how easy it is to get your own double XP these days. You just buy a little Vic the Trader stone, you get one of those, just suck all your bonus XP out from all the other skills, you're good to go. All right, let's check out this, let's see how Apo Pterosaur, I'm over here at his bait box. Let's see if I can upgrade the bait. I think I have enough wood to upgrade to the next bait box, which should be tier 2. Yeah, there it is. So the tier 3. What does tier 3 cost? 10. Oh, yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah, okay, Jagex. I see the game you're playing here. Okay, 100,000 of each material. That's gonna
be there a while.
That's gonna take a month or so.
Yeah.
All right. There is also deposit boxes you can build around the island that are separate from big game hunting, says Bladecom. So that's good to know.
No, yes, I did see one of those.
I've seen
one near that compass.
Is there? I've seen one down near whatchamacallit, the Slayer Master, but that's the only one I have seen at the Moom. What am I doing? I'm going back to Lumbee for now. I gotta make these dig-dang potions. All right.
So back to the PSAs.
Back to the PSAs. That was the longest PSA I think we've ever had. And I mean, the thing is we have a whole Anachronia section right ahead. So I mean,
it's just so good.
Anachronia is definitely probably update of the year, but there's still time. Again, this isn't even the double XL secret update of the year, so keep that in mind. They haven't even released the secret skill yet. All right. So the other update, again, just a reminder, the podcast is now available on Spotify. If you rather listen to the podcast on Spotify, that is an option now. Open Minds, our new podcast, is also available on all podcasting platforms except for iTunes, because I'm in a fight with iTunes at the moment, but we'll get that worked out. It's my own fault for doing something. It's Apple. It's always your fault when it's Apple. The next episode of Open Minds will be coming out in a week or so. I'm interviewing somebody next week who has a dependent personality disorder. And once I finish interviewing them, I will be able to produce an episode on dependent personality disorder, presumably. So that should be interesting. So look forward to that. Obviously, I will be researching it beyond just the interview of an individual, but it'll be very interesting to have a live subject for interview. It'll be the first time I've had somebody let me do that, so that'll be cool. Anyway, what else we got? The 10-year anniversary stuff. RRman's got me has got a whole bunch of stuff going on with that. I don't even understand how to begin explaining this. My mind is just a wreck. But we have digital access now available for the 10-year interviews at different tiers. So if you don't want to get the anniversary stick, if that $50 pledge is just way out of the question for you, but you do want to hear the interviews and you want access to the archives and all that fancy stuff, you want to be able to hear the RRman's debut episode, you want to hear Pyrn's debut episode, you want to hear Magebot, the artist formerly known as Magebot, now known as Venki. You want to hear all those episodes. That's available at the $20 pledge now. You can get all of those things. Or if you just want to hear the interviews, that is available at the $10 pledge. So we're spreading all that out, making it available, more accessible for people who are more tight on income but want to hear those things. And are also, maybe the other thing was, I also found out that I cannot ship to the EU. That is not something I can do. We found that out the hard way. That would cost me like $60 to $80 to ship a flash drive to the EU. So have to give an alternative. I had to get an alternative route to that. So digital access is another option there. So if you are living in the UK or the EU or, Australia or something along the lines where I cannot ship to, if you're not in the continental US, digital access is your alternate option there, and you could then just make your own flash drive and pretend that I signed it.
Just forge Major's signature.
Yeah. I give you my permission to forge my signature in that instance. Because of the...
Hang on, say that again so I can get it recording.
I give you my permission to forge my signature in that instance. All right.
But yeah, anyone out there that is considering the wanting to hear the interviews, even though my one's kind of garbage, the rest of them are really well worth it, and there's a lot of history in there and just funny stories and tales like that really should be heard.
Magnetics exists. Magnetic, when I decided to completely turn the table and one up Hana and just interview me straight up, completely wouldn't even let me interview him. Just interviewed me for like an hour.
Took over, didn't he? And it was great.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Oh, I mean, I always enjoy talking about myself. That's easy. But yeah, if you want to hear about like what inspired the show and all that stuff, that's an interesting listen, I guess. I'm also looking to get Shadow and Ash. They're oh, we got Shadow. Shadow's done. I need Ash and what's his face? Mitch. Ash and Mitch are on deck. Shadow's done. Shadow was fun. He was an interesting. He's almost done with college, and he's a good boy. He plays RuneScape still, actually. I know his name in RuneScape now, if anyone wants it. I put a note on his name because I was deleting people off of my list, trying to free up space because I'm always near max. And I moused over his name, ready to delete it because I didn't know who it was. And it said,
online just then.
It said Shadow Rising underneath it, and I was like, what the hell is this weird ass name? But it was he changed his name, and I was like, oh, okay. So I put his old name underneath his name, basically as a delete, resistance, so I wouldn't delete him by accident. Because I knew I would delete him, because we don't talk anymore. Anyway, let's get on to the show, shall we? Anachronia, week 1. Loading up the article here. So, first off, we are fresh off our massive summer update the article says here, the Black Ops team have been hard at work cracking away on post-release changes based on your feedback. Check the patch notes, which we will do. As a reminder, you can visit Anachronia right now in-game. Simply head over to the dig site to start your journey. So here's from the patch notes, the major updates here. So a Never Ask Me Again option was added to the Big Game Hunter pad, providing all 3 traps are not built. So that was definitely a needed change, as I think Pernasius was immediately raging about.
Triggered.
Yeah, and I agree, that was annoying. Hey Vintum, how you doing? Welcome. That was definitely something I noticed. That was, for your own, for your own safety at first, so you knew that you forgot to bait a pad, but eventually, as you got better at it and you realized that not baiting all the pads or not arming all the scorpions is actually in your best interest, for time's sake, once you know the poison weakness, that warning message becomes a detriment. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Failing an encounter in Big Game Hunter will no longer amount to dinosaurs you can hunt in the area, so it doesn't reduce that anymore. Leaving teleporting out of the area. Go ahead.
This is massive.
Right, yeah, this changes
these people learn.
Yeah. This actually, this changes it, as you said, completely from making it where you can pretty much just get fed up with it and be like, oh, I'm done with this. Where you can try it
never doing this again.
and get used to it and then fail and be like, okay, I got a chance to learn it before I failed. Because that was, I think, the hardest thing was you never got a chance to learn before you were locked out. And I was lucky enough that before I tried Big Game Hunter, that patch had already gone out. I spent the first week, I think, collecting butterflies.
So you don't have a broken keyboard.
No, I generally take the easy route. Anytime new content like Big Game Hunter or a new quest. Here's what changed me. Sliske's Endgame. That maze changed my life. You came back recently. I don't know if you came back before Sliske's Endgame or after. But Sliske's Endgame, when it came out, had that maze in it, unpatched. It was double the size, and you had limited run energy, and it's available up on my YouTube channel. But it took me 6 hours to get through it. And then a day later, they patched it to give you infinite run energy, and they made it half the size. So I no longer mess with content like that immediately, because
Don't be an alpha or beta tester.
Exactly. I've learned that Jagex tends to tweak things and make it a little more palatable. At least, if not a day, a week after. 'Cause sometimes they can't hotfix things. Sometimes it takes them a cold fix, which means you gotta wait until the next game update. But I just wanted to collect hunter marks and unlock fast traps. That was one of my main goals. I was watching everyone struggle with getting all the traps, so I was thinking I'll work on getting hunter marks and then go to Big Game Hunter. And coincidentally, that also helped me avoid this mechanic. So it was a 2-for-1 for me. Trapper fragments also could now be obtained, which was a fantastic byproduct of this update as well. I'm a big fan. I grabbed my trapper outfit. I like it a lot. I don't really know what the major benefits out of it are for hunting butterflies, but hunting anything with a product like Grenwalls or Chinchampas is you can double your reward, which is nice. But
yeah, that extra trap that you get to set is amazing.
That's definitely great too. Yeah. Oh, that would be good. I'm on double XP if I do manage to get 120 Herblore with time remaining. I will probably pop over and do Hunter in like the Grenwall Hunter area, just because of how great Hunter XP that is. We've also added a new achievement that requires you to be caught by all the dinosaurs in Big Game Hunter. So that's fun. I could definitely rack that one up, no problem. World?
Doing
Yeah.
a Pyrn, going through the rest of the patch notes, there's a couple in here.
Yeah.
The Bone Crusher now works in Big Game Hunter. So if it's annoying you, if you want to just crush out the bones.
Very nice.
But yeah, talking about before, we probably should keep them, eh?
Right, yeah. The Bone Collector sure works. I know that one.
Yeah, it's the one we did the never. Another thing is another thing that was annoying Pyrn was when you click on one of these scorpions to arm it, and it pops up with a make window.
Yeah.
So so if you right click the thing, you can pick the option or the spear you want to arm and do that, and that blew my mind. And I don't think Pyrn's seen that yet. So
no, I don't think so either. I think
can't wait for that. Yeah.
that was a revelation for me as well.
For that discovery, yeah.
Jadinkos. So I'm going to skip over the patch notes since you scanned through them. Big Game Hunter, Jadinkos, added to single encounters. This is from Mod Shawnee. Says, hey all, you may have seen a patch note. Jadinkos can now spawn in Big Game Hunter in today's game update. I wanted to use this post to go into clarity on the patch note itself to try and avoid confusion on when it goes live. In single Big Game Hunter instances, only you will now have a chance to see Jadinkos in the encounter at various points. Sometimes the dinosaur will deviate its walking path to instead walk towards a Jadinko snack. When the dino eats the Jadinko, the dino's detection is turned off, but right after it's done eating, detection will resume and the dino will move back towards its original path. I'd like to also post to gather feedback on this. So, I find this to be like a little chaos mechanic. Some people, like this person here, the Radis Skull says it makes it 100 times harder. I don't agree that it makes it 100 times harder.
Some people think it's 100 times easier.
Yeah, some people say it makes it easier. Some people say it makes it harder. I think it depends on the instance. I think it just adds an element of chaos.
Yeah, I almost want to say it's almost like perfectly balanced. Like, it can bug you up, but it can also really help you.
It's almost like it's a 50-50. It can help you or hurt you. Like, I don't know. I've had instances where it's gone against me and it's helped me. Like,
I think at the end of the day, it's just great that it's just adding something in there to mix it up a little bit and not just have the dinosaur going in the exact same path the whole way around.
I think that was probably the main goal of the Jadinkos, was to add some spice to the movement, because for the most part the dinosaur is just walking in a circle and then turning around every so often, and it's a pretty obvious walk pattern. And
I wonder if the reaction isn't because people had just nailed down their routines and then suddenly there was this wrench thrown into the works to gum it up, and so people were just, I just mastered it and now I have to start all over again.
Yeah, people hate change. So everyone's finally getting their XP and their GP down, and then Jagex messes it up for them. Yeah, people don't like that. Especially new content. People are writing guides and making videos. Now they got to take down their videos and start over.
I personally really enjoyed the variability of the content.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting the way that you could be cutting logs and then all of a sudden these little Jadinkos just start growing out of the ground, and you're like, well, I guess I'm getting the hell out of here. Like, that just added an element of surprise and chaos to the encounter that did not exist prior, where I could just be like, all right, he's going counterclockwise. I have X seconds to cut logs over here before he's back around, and as long as he doesn't roar, that remains true. Whereas now if Jadinkos spawn, like, that could just cancel at any second, and I have to be on my toes. and worry about that. And that could happen where I am, or it could happen somewhere else in the arena. And if it happens somewhere else in the arena, maybe forget cutting logs. Maybe now's a good time to build the pressure pad if he's busy eating Jadinkos. Even though maybe I'm not ready to arm the plate at that time, building the pad while he's, distracted, maybe opportune now, just so I can get it out of the way, so putting the food down later will be an easier task, so I don't have to worry about, getting caught at the last second when I have everything already built and all of my work goes to waste. Breathe. That's happened a few times. All I needed to do was build the stupid bait pad. So, it's like sometimes building the bait pad first almost is opportune. Because it can be what's the thing that trips you up. So the Jadinkos can be a lifesaver almost if you use them to your advantage. That's the thing, is chaos is a neutral force. You just need to get out of its way. You can use it to your advantage as long as you're not standing in front of it. Anyway.
And I think that the failure mitigation mechanic they introduced, where, if you get caught,
Right.
It's not the end of the world, that balances the Jadinkos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of an offset, right? They were introduced pretty much at the same time, so it makes sense that they would kind of offset each other to some degree. And you only get penalized in an instance if you've injured the dinosaur. Is that correct? Like, when do you get a penalization in an instance? Is that...
Put the meat down on the pad and then catches you.
And hurt the dinosaur.
dinosaur.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay.
And leaving. Like, if you
right.
enter it and then leave it.
Okay. Cool. So, RRman says, call it what it is. Jadinkos in Big Game Hunter is a nerf. Big Game Hunter is an annoying RNG fest with these Jadinkos. Jadinkos popping up under you at any point without warning. Jadinkos spawn near where you gotta go, and you gotta wait for the dino to finish it. Sometimes dinos spawn to eat Jadinkos that don't exist, and it just instantly turns about. Or
we just got that wrong.
Yeah,
that's just a
I think
mechanic
that's
from the first week, isn't it?
I think
where they just randomly stop and turn around.
Right. I think he's just confused there, or I think he's lagging. I don't know.
He really hates Jadinkos.
Sometimes dinos stop to eat Jadinkos that don't exist. Yeah, I don't think that happens. Or he's lagging. Or Jadinkos spawn and lure the dino away, meaning you get to keep on with your business. Only any good Big Game Hunter would have been planning for it anyways. Big Game Hunter was fun before this nerf. Now it's just annoying. Again, sounds like someone who had Big Game Hunter down before the quote-unquote nerf, and they don't want to relearn new mechanics. But it's just a new addition. I don't see it as a nerf. I really don't. I see it as an addition to the game, to the minigame. And I also see this as the first successful minigame added to the game in a long time. Because, I mean, yes, this is part of the skill. This is a way to train the skill, but this is effectively a one-player minigame. And it's fun, engaging. It only gives, actual rewards for the skill. It doesn't give a currency or really anything like that, but it's still a definition of a mini game, and they've done it really well. It's interesting. I like it. Anyway, I don't. Thank you very much for the resub. I appreciate that very much. Did you include a message with it, or do you want to say anything on the air, RRman?
No, I'm already here.
Yeah. Let's see here. Next up, we have the RuneFest theme being revealed. Big surprise. Could you guess it? RuneFest 2019 will be a blast from the very distant past, as visitors will take a dangerous journey into the land out of time. Expect dinosaurs and a carnivorous player eating plants. And an extinction event. Actually, no, wait. Not that last one, but player eating plants for sure. As you're traveling around a real-life slice of the island, you can look forward to hands-on time with new content, talks and meetups with JMods, loads of panels, a dedicated LAN area, an art area for meeting the creative teams, and of course, some very big surprise announcements on the main stage. We're also bringing back skill chips. This year's RuneFest will be the biggest RuneScape fan event ever, and tickets are on sale right now. The event itself kicks off on October 4th and runs through October 5th, beginning on the 18th of Friday night with a very special community event, the Golden Gnomes. Oh, they're kicking off at the Golden Gnomes this time. You know, it's funny because generally they end with the Golden Gnomes and everyone like leaves. So that's probably a good idea. Once again, we're heading to the Farnborough International Exhibition Conference Centre just outside of London in the UK. For tips and suggestions on everything from travel to accommodation, check out our dedicated Discord channel, the official RuneFest forum, or the community-owned Facebook group. For now, save the date to make sure you're part of the world's greatest RuneScape fan gathering. We can't wait to see you there. Wish you'd have one in the United States.
One day.
We need to have a GoFundMe so we can raise for a clan event. That's our goal, is the 2020 Kill, Skill, and Chill mega
RuneFest takeover.
RuneFest clan house, where we just rent a mansion.
Airbnb.
Yeah. We find an Airbnb mansion. Not a mansion, but like a large house on Airbnb. We rent it for
tent. A big tent.
I want to at least have plumbing, for God's sakes. Like, we have to go to a convention the next day. I want to be rested. There's like, yeah, I mean, Airbnb is not expensive, like, from what I hear. And anyway, from what I also hear, the U.S. dollar is pretty competitive with the Great British Pound these days, so it shouldn't be too bad converting over the money anymore. Anyway, what else we got going on? RuneFest, I would love. I'm excited. The Farnborough Exhibition Center was fantastic, beautiful hall. I'm very excited to watch it. I hope they stream in the special events category again.
So we can get those bonus views.
Yep. That was fantastic.
It's always a great show, the old RuneScape Weekly RuneFest shows.
We scored like 300 live views that day. That was great. But for real, I'm excited for RuneFest. It's always a good time. So save the date. Generally, we get a bonus XP weekend around those times as well, so keep your ears out for that. I know I will, as we're literally planning for one right freaking now.
Another one?
I know. I'm sad to say that, but that's how it rolls. It's around where we do about 3 a year now in RuneScape 3. That's the number. RuneScape 3. When we roll over to RuneScape 4, I guess we'll have to expect 4 bonus XP weekends a year. But that's been the trend.
Don't give them ideas.
I'm sorry. Let's see here. Let's roll on to a happy post. I'm having a good time, says Kopok. It says, so I made my first account in 2004 and played for about 5 years, mostly free to play. I came back to old school RuneScape with the launch of mobile and basically burnt myself out with efficiency-scape and questing. After a month break from old school RuneScape, I saw an ad for RuneScape 3 and decided to give it a go. See, ads do work. I had to recover my old account, used a green dragon bot back in the day, thanks for 83 defense, lol, and basically everything was gone. Someone spotted me wearing my 2009 gear and took me to Hans and gave me 150k for my veteran cape. Mindlessly following guides is what burnt me out on other games, so I went to the GE to ask for some guidance. Immediately got invited to a huge clan where everyone was super helpful. One guy even took like half an hour of his time to show me around the clan castle. I realized how little I knew and started a new RRman to replay quests and learn the mechanics from the start. I've been going through challenges, quests, and exploring mining and smithing the reworks, and have been having so much fun. Learning everything myself bit by bit is far more rewarding than maximizing XP per hour or questing grinding for best in slot gloves. Thanks for reading. Just wanted to share my perspective. So somebody playing for not efficiency scape and actually having fun.
Once you learn how to do that, you can really start enjoying the game. Playing the game.
Yeah, that's when you've reached the next level. I haven't reached that level yet. I have to become 5.4 bill first. It's the only way.
And then you can enjoy it.
You are part of the problem.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm in therapy. I'll get there. I have to. My therapist. I had a therapist who tried to get me to quit RuneScape. I got a new therapist.
Oh. Wow. Yeah. I hope you fired that for
This therapist has not tried me to get to quit RuneScape.
Is that because you haven't mentioned it like everyone when they're younger and playing RuneScape?
Well, no, I've been very honest. I talk about the podcast and everything. They encourage my creative endeavors and whatnot. I think they just also encourage that I use my creative talents for other endeavors as well, like open minds and stuff like that. Anyway, moving along. I should open.
I really relate to that story. My account obviously isn't that old or anything like that, but I was also lured back to the game by mention of like mobile. So ads, yes, they do work, but I was misled because the mobile isn't an open one, isn't an open beta, and it is not available for Apple.
Yeah.
But once they get you hooked, it's just you're just immediately lost
Bait
down
switch.
the hole.
Which is illegal, by the way. Yeah, I know. They promise you mobile, and they're like, it's coming, I promise. They've been promising full-fledged mobile since, like, 2013, and they've not been able to deliver.
I know, right?
And, I mean...
Getting a bit ridiculous now.
I'll tell you what. It runs great on Android. But the hurdles it is going to take for them to get a working beta on iOS... It's probably going to take another like 4 or 5 months, but they'll get there. I'm confident that they'll get there. It's just annoying, and I am amazed that they haven't given up, but they've got $signs in their eyes, and I don't blame them, because honestly, this is the last bastion that can be milked. Is mobile gaming. Like, this is... You can't put RuneScape on PlayStation 4. Like, it's just not gonna work. And you can't microtransaction this game any harder on the PC without it failing. So, mobile makes sense. Like, if you want to access a new audience to get a larger player base and expand your ability to make content for this game, mobile is the only option that makes sense. You can gain hundreds of thousands of new subscriptions and microtransactions through mobile. That's going to expand your ability to create new content and create...
Not to mention,
let's be honest.
Finally get rid of the Java.
Right. Line. That's, I think, the big one is once mobile goes 100% live on both iOS and Android, I think we can finally say goodbye to Java. Even Enterprise is trying to kill Java. Like, even private enterprise doesn't want Java in their environment anymore. But they can't get rid of it. It's that bad. So nobody wants Java. It's like a virus it's like a retrograded into our DNA.
It's like the appendix.
Yeah. It's just, you can go in and, like, cut it off. No one knows why it's there. It's just there. And then we found out, like, weirdly later that it had a function. And then we got, Anyway, mid-level player opinion.
To, like, give out, you know how they give out some keys for people who have the authenticator? why don't they do a week where it's like you get a key, extra key, treasure hunter if you're using NXT?
Right? They should. If you're using NXT, you should get an extra key. I believe it. I believe in that.
Just straight up bribery.
Yeah, they bribe us when we have Authenticator active for a week. They should start bribing us for using NXT. I mean, it might work, but it also, I think a lot of the people who have issues with the NXT client have actual performance issues where it literally doesn't work. They need to actually buy new computers, and they won't do it. So they need to either play the game on their phones or buy new devices. And the only way they're going to do that is by Jagex forcibly removing the platform from them. So if you take away Java from them, that makes them change. They have to do something about it in that case. If you leave Java there, it gives them no incentive to do anything. So why would they? Anyway, mid-level player opinion on RuneScape by, you can tell it's a slow news week, Blinksy Weiler here. It's the best I'm going to do on that name. I've seen a lot of discussion recently about Loot Island, I think. Know what? L-O-O-T? Land Out of Time Island? Thank you.
Loot Island, you boy.
I like it. New players and whether Jagex should make updates for high-level veterans or low-level new players. I feel like there aren't too many mid-level players sharing their thoughts, so I started playing Rune about a year ago, and here is my opinion from a new player. This is interesting here. My stats are about all 50 with 190 quest points. As a new player in the last year, I have really enjoyed all of the updates. Sure, there are things that I cannot fully participate in, like Loot Island or comp rework or high-level PVM topics, but Jagex has done such an amazing job creating content for all levels of players this year. Player-owned farms was amazing and rewarded the high-level players, but also allowed noobs like me to have fun raising chickens and rabbits. Mining and smithing rework was awesome and affected all levels of areas of the game. The quests were open to mid-level players and high players and provided awesome lore and fun adventures. Even the fire-making update with incense burners was accessible to low-level players. I felt very included in all updates as low mid-level players, even though some parts of them were geared more towards 90+. Sure, I was a little disappointed with Loot Island not having much for us mid-level players, but it's still an awesome update that gives us a fun goal to shoot for. I can't wait to use the new Slayer Master or be able to finish the whole agility course. All this is to say that mods have done an awesome job creating content all year long for all levels of players. Hats off to them. So, sounds like a fairly positive report there. And I mean, as somebody who can't appreciate a full spectrum of content because I just, skip across the agility course seamlessly as if it's just one seamless piece of content. It doesn't occur to me as if any of it is a different level than any of the rest of it. Whereas this person obviously can only complete maybe a portion of it, and another portion of it is locked out to them. So they have a very different experience than I or another high-level player would have. So someone like myself is obviously experiencing Anachronia very differently than a new player is going to experience Anachronia from. And that's interesting in of its own right, but also adds to the mysticism. It also adds, I think, to the allure of the island, almost to like how you can kind of look down from the beaches and up the cliffside, and like, I can't traverse that with my noob hands yet, but someday I'm gonna climb those cliff sides like those veteran players that are, hopping and like mirrors edging their way through the cliffs. Like, that is just a really cool vision that I can imagine being low level and having, that maybe well, I can't have as an experience as a high-level player. And if I created a new account, it wouldn't matter because I've already experienced all the content. It's too late. You'd have to give me retrograde amnesia and hope that it erased all of my RuneScape experiences. So, like, I think that this is a cool story.
New therapy technique?
Go ahead. What? Say that again?
New therapy technique?
Yes. Just erase memories and start over with gaming. That might be a new way to experience life. I like it.
True Iron Man.
True Iron Man. You erase your mind and then start over. I think I found the only way to get actual hits on a new RuneScape YouTube series.
Prerequisite is blunt force trauma.
Right. I have to I have to electrocute my brain first, and then, yeah.
That's frowned upon these days, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, no, you can. You just have to go under anesthesia first, and have muscle relaxants injected into you. There's
Kids, do not try this at home.
There's hospitals that will do it for you, locally. It's, what is it called? I used to know what it was called. This is the problem with taking Topamax. Word fishing.
Are you talking about electroconvulsive therapy?
Yeah, but there's a ECT. Yes, thank you. Electric convulsive therapy. Yeah, that. They still do it. There's a newer version of it called TMS that is a lot less invasive, that doesn't require you to go under as well.
That's like the transcranial magnetic something.
Yes, yeah, transcranial magnetic stimulation. Correct. What's next? We'll probably eventually be talking about that on Open Minds. The difference between ECT and TMS. Next up is the RuneScape Quest Planner app that RRman found this topic for us. This is interesting. So apparently, with the new RuneScape Wiki, because they're partnered with RuneScape, there's a little lovemaking going on the back end with the data and the API, and you can plug in your RuneScape name, and there's an API. You can connect, and it plugs in, right? And basically, they're in cahoots, is what I'm trying to say here. And they have a backdoor deal going on. And Iron Quest is taking advantage of that in the best way possible and using this technology to make an app where you can plug your name in, and then I guess it creates like a linear version of a road to what quests you need to finish to whatever wherever you need to get to. Basically, it says this app will calculate the optimal path for completing quests. It uses data from the high scores and rune metrics to get your current stats and quest data. If you provide your username, a list of actions is then displayed in the optimal order to complete. This action includes completing quests using XP lamps or training skills until all quests have been completed. For those interested, the optimal quests is the quest with the least requirements for the most rewards. This does not take into account the time taken to do things, such as training or completing quests. I've been developing this app for a few years now, and it's now available as a web app. It's open source too. All of the quest data has been collected manually from in-game and the RuneScape Wiki. There may be some requirements or rewards which are missing and incorrect. Some RRman requirements still might be missing, and not every quest has recommended requirements yet. Feel free to suggest any additions. So he's put a lot of work into this. So he's gone and used the online... Go ahead.
This is fantastic.
Yeah. He's created a whole database here for you based off of the wiki, and then use the online API for the high scores and the rune metrics of the RuneScape website, and then it creates an optimal path for you for questing. So, interesting. I have not tried it. So it's a web app, he says here? Let me see here.
Yeah. So basically,
Project Iron
this is probably
Quest.
better for people who haven't done as many quests.
Yeah, I
But it will
want
give you.
to try it on my Iron
order.
Man.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. And it will tell you what to use the lamps and such on, so that you can do the next quest like in the series.
Yeah, this is interesting.
It's almost like it tries to keep you on the quest.
Oh, this is cute. Yeah, so it's like a little application. It's fairly simple. Definitely.
But effective.
Yeah, simple but effective.
You know, I wonder whether that plays into the efficiency mindset a little too much, maybe?
I would agree. This is definitely something that if you were trying to avoid efficiency scape, this is a slippery slope. Because yeah, this is like directly how to get to your goal ASAP. And
isn't the joy of RRman just kind of flailing about and discovering all kinds of things you never would have done on a main because it would have been so inefficient?
Yeah, I agree with that. See, now, I like to play my main like an RRman, which is one of the reasons why I have had very mixed feelings about playing an RRman. And people really have been kind of mean to me in the way that I play my main.
Oh, no.
Which is why I didn't finish making all the urns. If we go in my bank here, I have a pile of urns in here. I don't know, somewhere close presets. I said close presets. I have 71,938 decorated hunter urns, unfinished, because Blade Com pointed out my inefficiencies during the Breaking of the Storm event. I was going to make 100,000 hunter urns, and then I was going to use those 100,000 hunter urns for hunter during 120 hunter, because, you know, if I could make my own hunter urns, then use them, because, you know, it's you know, DIY. You know, it would have gotten me to 120 crafting as well. So I was going to get 120 crafting and then use my product from 120 crafting to help me get 120 hunter. I thought, you know, I figured that was kind of, you know, nice. But it was going to take me like a week of in-game time to do. So it was an excessive amount of time, whereas Black Dragonhide was going to take me about maybe 30 hours of in-game time. So it was like 200 hours versus like 40 hours, 30 hours. So, I mean, he had a valid point. To be fair, I try to make fun of you daily. You know, it wasn't that you were making fun of me. It was that you were pointing out a very, very large inefficiency that then I was like, you are completely right. And now that I am so very aware of this, I can't have this stand any longer because I need to be 120. Before Anachronia comes out, and it wasn't going to happen. And I knew it wasn't going to happen, but then when I realized how badly it wasn't going to happen, like when you put that sack of potatoes in my face so hard, and I was like, oh, Anachronia is going to be out for like a week, and I'm still going to be making these urns. I was like, I can't have this. So I just stopped making them. But I am now stuck with like 70,000 unfinished hunter urns that cannot be sold. So I have to I gotta make them. I gotta do something with them. This is the story of Magebit, you know? I had to stop them in order for time's sake. But they're 4 million an hour money wise, so like making them for money's sake is like, if I'm bored, I'll just like, let me fire up some hunter urns. But, let me show you. Alas, collect hunter urns on the GE price, not selling, mid. That's 100 million plus worth of hunter urns on the GE. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants them.
You know, I wonder if it's because it doesn't work for a big game hunter for whatever reason.
Sure,
And
for
so there's not
butterflies,
that
though.
demand.
Sure, for butterflies, though, right? Isn't everyone AFKing butterflies?
I'll buy some of those ends off you.
You want to buy some urns? I got urns for days.
I didn't even think of that hunter ends.
I mean, they're
Need like a lunar spell, like fire urns.
right. I need an invention machine. Oh, I've been sitting on my leg for too long, and now my knee hurts. Oh. I need an invention machine.
In fairness,
That I can just put all of them in, and it will auto fire all my stuff. Are you listening to me, Jagex? I have an idea. I know I'm completely way off course for the podcast. I'm sorry, whoever that one-star review is in iTunes who hates when we go off on random tangents in the middle of podcasts. But I've thought about doing a on Double XP weekend, seeing how long I can go on my desk elliptical for Double XP weekend, doing an endurance stream for Double XP IRL, like seeing how long I can also go for. I think that would be amusing. Most people probably finished Hunter pre-nerf and nothing to use. I know.
that's true. Yeah,
I know. Everyone got it in before.
The XP nerf. Everyone's crying about it. And
I
to get there and
know. That's what I'm afraid of.
Everyone wanted RSI.
I know. Everyone wanted to ruin their friggin' hands with turtles. Anyway, that's Project Iron Quest.
Do you have a Fitbit? Because
I
on
do.
Double XP weekend, you can put up your steps taken and your XP gains and
I do.
stream it.
I have a Fitbit. I have the Fitbit app on my computer. I could Bluetooth my heart rate right to the stream if I wanted to. I've done that before.
Well, we got to make that happen.
I did that for I did that for a horror stream once, but it's delayed enough that it wasn't really good. But for something like this, it would work because it's an average of your heart rate. But it also would be. I could also just load the page up on the website and put Funny enough, it doesn't like I can start an exercise and turn on elliptical, but when I'm sitting here just pedaling like this, just sitting here pedaling, it won't track my steps, because I'm sitting down. So it doesn't track this as exercise. I've learned.
Can you attach it to your foot?
That you're right. That's the thing. I would have to put this around my
Ankle Fitbit.
Yeah. No shit. Yes. That's actually I probably have to. Yeah.
Ankle bracelet.
That's a smart idea. I think that's a real thing. God, I hate public chat. I would probably have to do something like that. There are actually smart bands that actually have wrist and ankle attachments, like they do both. But what I can do is go into my watch and just activate the exercise elliptical, and I don't know what that does. Like I know it will start tracking my heart rate more excessively, but I don't know how it tracks anything else beyond that.
Do the agility course while running in real life.
That's what I wanted to do, right? I was thinking like do the Anachronia agility course while pedaling and see see which drops first, my finger or my legs. That would be an interesting Twitch challenge. And mark it as an endurance stream. Anyway, what's the next? I love this thing. Best $80 I've ever spent. I said the same thing about the perfect push-up being the best $25 I ever spent. Anyway, what's the next topic? Saying thanks. We got a lot of thankful topics, a lot of thankful people after Anachronia, which tells me that Jagex really just nailed the update for a extra large update. It's very hard to do, so kudos, I guess. It says seriously, it's almost overwhelming with how many nice people are in this game, and this is not even about the update. Wow, this is interesting as well. As far as the praise we're getting on the RuneScape community this stream as well. These posts are all from like within the past 2 weeks. So apparently a lot of nice people have been logging in lately. And I think that's, I'm not trying to pick on the old school community, but I feel like our community is a little more welcoming. But anyway, it's been almost 4 weeks since I've started playing, and I got swooped up by 80 plus combat level clan that's always there to help when I need. People are always around to help spread knowledge and guide me. But coming from World of Warcraft, this game has a bunch of really nice people. I feel like WoW is always a competition between what mounts, pets, PvP, and PvE gear, and who your guild is. Reddit has always been very good. Reddit has been really very good the past 2 weeks. I wonder why. What's in the water? What did you do to them? Thanks to unnamed player who gave me 2 million to fund me gear and mats necessary for starting. I've since made 1 million gold from it. Now I'm at a skill 800 plus. Nice, with almost 3 million plus in the bank. A guy quitting gave me his loot and 250k from his GE. No strings attached. Protox Gaming for making handy video guides. And honestly, shoutouts. I actually used a Protox Gaming video on Anachronia, so yeah, shoutouts to Protox Gaming. A guy who randomly traded me and upgraded my default axe to a rune axe. Words were exchanged and we both had a good day. Players around the GE who always assist me when it comes to upgrading gear. Others who have been in various minigame locations, Stormbreak event, and randomly in caves and such. Who are you hanging out with in caves? If you're an experienced player, it means a lot to new players to hold their hand for a bit and have someone to mentor. It makes us feel like we can take on all of RuneScape one skill level at a time. I always say any new players are always welcome, or returning, always welcome to hang out and kill, skill, and chill. Love having newer returning players. No question it's too small or silly. Because I mean, like when I always like take a break from RuneScape and go to try to play another MMO to try and get perspective on what we truly have in RuneScape. Like my last foray was into EVE Online, which is a beautiful game. Truly, I think the only other game that is on RuneScape's level. And I think the only thing that RuneScape could really borrow and learn from them is maybe their economy. Their skilled system is maybe even a little bit better than RuneScape. Ooh, did I say that? But they have an extremely complex interface, and the people there are not friendly. And that's, I think, one thing that this game really has over, I think, a lot of other communities is the people here. For the most part, especially on the RuneScape 3 side, tend to be willing to help you for the most part, unless you're on World 84. All right, let's see here. What do we got coming? We're approaching. We are approaching the end. We will have the longest show this week, unfortunately. But that happens every now and again. Been on the heels of Double XP weekend here. Next week, we're going to have a mega show with DXP on. Should be interesting. This article coming up next, though, is I really wanted Pyrn on for, because I figured he would have a ball with. He was actually a little mad at me that I didn't have it on the last show. I cut it because we didn't have enough time on the last show.
Funny sure he wanted you to put it back in, eh?
Yeah, he wanted me to put. That's where we got the clip from.
Yes. I'm
actually having a CPU overload at the moment, and the page won't load. So, give me a minute here.
I don't know if that's me as well. Actually, it might be the website.
Oh, maybe, because I'm funny because whatchamacallit, Exla popped up and was like, "Your CPU, it's melting, by the way."
But I'll let you know. maybe we'll have to save this for when
We might. Pernacius is like in bed. He's like, you will not use that article. I'll pull another one. I got some of those other articles that I have saved of the ones that people I'm figuring we're gonna delete. I made a new folder, by the way, called Moderator Protection, where you can use that one now for things that you think are going to be deleted by people like BladeCom. So instead of bookmarking, you take a snapshot of them and send them off to that folder.
All right.
And just in case, so they don't get...
That.
Some things are like, this is clearly going to be deleted, and bookmarking them is not an option. So you take snapshots of them and save them to the moderator protection folder instead of the show topics folder, because saving them to that folder is easier for me, because when they're screenshots, I can't have a link to them to put in the show notes. So just having a folder of screenshots is easy for me to just thumb through them, be like, all right, let me pick out one of these, and be like, all right, today we'll look at, let's see here, this weird flex right here. What is your weird flex? I like this one. I maxed my RuneScape account and lost my virginity the same day.
What?
And it says, what is your weird flex? And this guy says, he got 5 awards for this. He says, I maxed my RuneScape account with all 99s and lost my virginity all on the same day. And the top response is, wow, not everyone can so easily point to the day that they peaked. That is, your life's all downhill from there.
I wonder if he was trimmed. Comp cape, of course.
You don't even need anything past that. Suggested route for wrongful ban. Cousin was AFK. I think we might have done that one. Did we do that one? The cousin was AFK one?
These are 2 separate topics, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we did this one. Let me go back into the show topics. I had one. I think we have one more as well in show notes. I just wanted to toss that one in there to make up for the lost one. And then we'll go into the last topic here for the cold, cruel RuneScape. So this one is just sad and honestly reminds me of how my friends were when we were children and played RuneScape. This is honestly reminds me of 2 of my friends when we had a trio that played RuneScape. Myself and 2 other individuals that will not be named for privacy's sake. And we all played RuneScape together back in 2001, 2002, those days, the early days. And they would, share accounts and whatnot. But eventually, basically this story happened, so let me read it. I ruined my friend's RuneScape account when we were kids. So me and a random friend of school, played RuneScape a long time ago. After a while at playground at school, I asked for his password, and he gave it to me. He then asked me for my password, which I said really fast. And when he asked me to repeat it, I said, too bad. So now for the effed up part. When I got home, I logged on to his account and traded all his stuff over to my account. I had no membership, so I couldn't trade it all. All his member gear and other stuff that I couldn't take, I didn't leave it alone. No.
Okay.
I pulled an asshole move and scattered it all around the world onto different locations of the map so he could never find it. Now, I think of it as an asshole move and regret it. Don't even remember why. I feel I needed to do this. Yeah. Why would you feel you needed to do that? Because you were a shitty kid. I mean, kids are shitty.
This is like playground hazing, RuneScape style.
Right. Kids are just shitty, I think is the answer to that.
He's got some comments and replies down here. One guy says to him, "You will never wash away your sins." And he says, "Sadly, I won't. I committed one of the worst crimes."
I mean, we all have RuneScape crimes on our consciences, of course. But you know, this is the worst kind. Shame. I don't have a bell, but yeah. This is
what happened next. He confronted me about it and said I gave the password to another kid because he would level him.
Oh, double shame.
So he passed.
He believed me, and I didn't take the blame.
Because he wanted to keep the friendship.
Yeah.
That's how you. Wow. Yeah, because his poor friend, had two options right there. One, fight this kid over some digital items in RuneScape and lose a friendship, or two,
called a nerd.
Yeah, and be called a nerd, or two, pretend it never happened and keep a friendship going. Honestly, his friend is the bigger person here. For just accepting his lame ass excuse and moving on with it. Like, that's the real moral of the story here, is be the bigger person when something like this happens to you, and be able to accept the lesser person's lame excuse when they do evil to you, and even when you know that you've been wronged, because you just know that they're a lesser person and they need to work on themselves.
It's a bit of a redemption story for the bully too, right?
Right.
He eventually learned to regret, and it's probably changed him in their relationship.
Right, exactly, because as I'm saying, generally these lower, when you do something like this, that's something that affects you in this low way, you hang on to it as he's held on to it all this time, and it's affected him. And you have to get rid of it, like he's done right now. He's had to post it in our confessions. You know, it's not like this was even posted on our RuneScape. You know, he went into our confessions, where people go to dump confessional stuff. You know, like, this obviously was keeping him up at night. So this got downvoted pretty heavily too. People don't like it when you get your account hijacked and your items strewn about Gielinor. God damn it!
Digital crimes are forever.
Right? Digital crimes are real crimes. They hurt.
You mess with the ones and zeros, you do the time, mate.
Right? Ones and zeros hurt.
I'll tell you what, though. I just did a quick search of this Reddit. I just typed in RuneScape.
Yeah.
Let's just say we got some content for a few months.
Oh god,
some good stuff here.
Good.
So tune in for the next episode, where we talk about a man who hacked over 300 accounts and a guy that robbed his older brother's RuneScape account when they were kids.
This is why you're the executive producer. Awesome. Beautiful. Well, that was our show. A good show, nonetheless. And I appreciate everyone who took the time to tune in. We will do it again next week as well. And again, probably the next week after that, as long as I'm still alive. No. Yeah, and it's Bonus XP Weekend next week, isn't it? So we have to do the whole Bonus XP Weekend thing. So we'll be doing a marathon, right? I assume? All are welcome. Cass, thank you so much for joining us for your first show. You're welcome back anytime. It's been a fantastic episode.
Thank you. And you can bet I'll be tuning in for when Magebit ankle bits.
Yeah. I'm going to strap my... I have one of those, like, fake smartwatch Fitbits, and I'm gonna see how it... because it actually has a watch strap. I'm going to see if it goes around my ankle. I'll be really interested to see if that actually works. That would be amusing. Anyway, yeah. Thank you so much for filling in for Permacius. You were one step closer to stealing his throne. And we, again, are very excited for Double XP Weekend next week. That's exactly what RuneScape 3 needs, more bonus XP. We will definitely be there. Probably be doing Magebit in the morning as well. So I think we're going to be working on our Anachronia lap time next week. I was telling thieves that I was going to be working on that. So I believe Monday, my plan is Anachronia lap time. So if you're interested in that, magebit.tv. And, yep. You can find us on social media. In the meantime, we got a Facebook page for you, facebook.com/RSWeekly. We're on Twitter as well, at RSWeekly. You can find us on Discord as well, magebit.online. You can also find us on YouTube. We are youtube.com/RSW show. And we're on Twitch as well, magebit.tv. You can find us in the game as well, believe it or not. Kill, Skill, and Chill is the name of the clan. Kill, Skill, the letter N, Chill. You can also help the show out if you'd like. You can find the pre-show, blogs, pre-shows, all that fancy stuff, patreon.com/RuneScape. Today's pre-show was 3 hours long. It was a very interesting pre-show. We had a good time. You can check that out at patreon.com/RuneScape. That'll be up very shortly. You also can get all of the audio shows presented in an RSS format, so you can put that on your device, on your smartphone, tablet, however you'd like it served up to you, so you can take it on the go, nice and in podcast format. You don't have to listen to it on your PC or anything like that. So if you like podcasts and you want to take Magebit in the morning or your pre-shows or like that, all formatted in RSS for you, for podcasting on the go for you. Patreon.com/RuneScape. Support the show and get bonus content. You can also support us one time as well, paypal.me/RSW, and you can check out my personal content, magebit.me. That is where Open Minds is hosted. That is also where I host my poetry and my writing. I just posted a new poem that I wrote. Yeah, you can. Good writing. You can tell. The first poem I've actually written in probably a few years. All of the poems that I post generally are archive stuff that I've written years ago, because my mind is just numbed from the psychotropic drugs that I take now. But this is the first time that I've been able to write anything in a long time. So if you want to check it out, magebit.me, it's posted over there. The work is called Oblivion. Anyway, that's all we have for this week. I totally got. I had a rough episode today. Because of our missing main co-host. So I super apologize to our sustaining supporters, like Ricky A, Cass, and Dialo at the start of the show. Did not announce that, so sorry about that. And Sudwood, thank you as well for your support. And the 16 others, thank you as well for your support. You all mean the world to me. And then in big, bold letters, double check this, says RRman. I love you, buddy. We will check all of that information at some point. Yes, we got a lot of stuff to check. Anyway, we will be back next week for bonus XP extravaganza, Magebit in the morning, and all that stuff. Happy scaping. Stay tuned for reruns if you missed any of today's show or want to catch last week's show.